we have.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to be back in a few minutes. Hello, because I just finished the other class section, but very nice seeing you. Very excited that some of you have chosen to show your videos. I just need your roster printed and then I'll be back. Okay. Make sure everybody knows I'll be back, okay? Hello, everyone. Good to have you with us today. Let's see who is in this class. It is a smaller class that I have, but I'm going to give everybody 2 or 3 more minutes. I have Alex, Ethan, Andrew, Matt, Robert, Jeremy, Carl, Kyle, and Andrew. So 11 of you, and 11 of us, 10 of you. So 7 of your friends are missing. So I'm gonna take 2 more minutes before I get started. Feel free to unmute yourself, ask some general questions that you may have about the course. No questions or no audio? Which one is that? One thing I would like you to understand that a lot of things are on RegNet. That if I want to share something, a new assignment, a new document, I'll put the link on the current module. Right now, during the first week, you have the Start Here module. That's going to be the module you end up on when you log into RegNet. and you have a number of items to work on, your syllabus quiz and your first discussion. It's a mini discussion during the first week. But the first week is also part of your first module, the first 6 weeks of the class that we focus on traditional project management. So after the first week, I'm going to switch the modules and I'm going to change the order. So you're going to end up being on first module when you log into Regiment. So I have 11 of you. We're missing 5. So I'm going to keep talking about the general structure of the course until we see if we can have more of your classmates join us here. One thing that is worth reminding is the place that I plan to share my resources for the day. So for today, there are activities which I actually didn't get to work on with my other sections because we didn't have enough time. But here are the links. So this is the weekly Zoom class meeting. You click on that, it takes you to the Zoom Pro, which is here. So you can directly go to Zoom Pro, or you can click on this. And this is going to take you to the folder with some documents. So for today, for instance, I have these handouts, which I didn't get to use because of time constraints, but also the PowerPoint slide for that day. So you get a set of slides and a set of handouts for the day by following that link. The 5-minute check-in meeting is important also for you to sign up for. There is only one time and day option, 7 to 9 p.m. tonight, but I'm going to add more times. For regular office hours, I'm going to add them to your Zoom Pro. For one-on-one meetings, you're going to go to sign up. So this is connected to sign up because I need you to sign up for the class meetings and open office hours. You're going to go to the Zoom Pro or just follow this link that I have for you. So lots of things on Reginet, and this is going to happen during the first week of the class. At some point during this class, I would need some of you to unmute yourself and confirm that I have the page I'm thinking I have in front of you. So like if I have the video, I want to make sure I have the video on and the sound is working for you. So there will be a few times I'll ask you to confirm things with me in terms of what's in front of your screen. And there will be a lot of times you need to talk. This is a relatively smaller class to my others, compared to my other sections, so you'll be talking a lot. When I ask you to participate and make a comment, I don't expect like spectacular comments or rocket science type of contributions. No, you would just show me that you've been awake and you've been paying attention. Any comments would work. Answer my question in another question, that works. So the hope is that you're gonna keep this interactive, and some of your ideas, maybe depending on the project and the work you've been doing, could help explain things that we're trying to explain. And we're hoping that none of you will be a black box here doing some other things in your house. So you are in fact in the class and you are paying attention to the things I have to share with you. So participation is very important in my classes, but I don't want you to be concerned about it. It's just something I do, part of my style. So I have Andrew, Ryan, Tony, Kay, BG, Solomon, Haley. So we're missing 3 of your classmates, but I think I have to get it started. So Alex, do you think we get it started now?
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, perfect. Let's start it. We're gonna get back to this and then do the official start. The official start, everyone. I'm your professor, Dr. Elahe. I want to welcome you to IT 262 Section 2, Information Technology Project Management. Today, we're going to work on and discuss a few items. First is work breakdown structure. Then we talk about project lifecycle. Classic mistakes, I'm going to see if I can get to those today with your class section. I wasn't able to do so in the previous ones. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you to ask me questions about the course, the plan for the first week, and the syllabus. So this is a full lecture day, and I would ask you again to participate at many different points during this class. So the good news is that the project management, we call it IT project management, but a lot of the tools, techniques, ideas, and concepts that are taught to you in this course will be useful in any other project that you may take on in your life. It could be useful when you do your graduation party plan, when you do a project with your roommates, when you're trying to improve your room, do a startup with your friends. Anything that you do in life, small or big, these ideas would apply to them. So the first question, this is something I have in front of you. Take a look at it. You have 1 minute to think about it and give me a label or a description for this thing that you see in front of you. Anybody who is ready to talk before the 1 minute, please feel free to unmute yourself and share your ideas.
Did you say that you just wanted us to like try to guess what it is, or?
Exactly.
Is it like an itinerary?
It's close. It has a list of items and time associated with it. Yes. So there are, yes, that's close. It's a close guess.
Would it be possibly considered like a timeline?
Time, it has time, obviously, duration, start and finish time. So it's timeline as well. So it covers that one. But it has, this is a good start. It has some other pieces of information. Can you notice those other pieces of information? Good ideas here. We're just going to make it a little bit more specific.
It kind of almost looks like a schedule to me.
Schedule, timeline, itinerary. Yes, these are all good ideas. It's a schedule. It shows the timeline. It shows order of things. What extra items do you see on this? Anything extra?
I see a category labeled WBS.
Exactly. So there is a hierarchy. Do you do that in your typical scheduling? Do you have hierarchies? So this is the highest level, and then there is a lower level, which goes here 2.2, 2.3, and there is this 2.1, 2.1. So there are 3 levels in this hierarchy. So how about these pieces of information? What are those, do you think? Any guesses?
Looks like it shows, what needs to be done before you can complete the current item. So I'm just looking at 2.1.7. It's showing that 2.1.6 needs to be done first.
Exactly. So the predecessor, what has to be done first before this one can start. That's actually a finish to start type of dependency. What you describe is dependency among different activities. So these ideas are great. You gave me all these ideas, and I'm going to summarize them and give a label to this chart. It's called a deliverable-oriented schedule, or a deliverable-oriented work breakdown structure. So work breakdown structure, or WBS, it's when you break down the work required to complete the project to smaller pieces, sections, or phases. So here we've done a project and there are phases, and the phase that is in front of you is phase 2, planning. Why do we call it a deliverable oriented? In a deliverable oriented schedule or work breakdown structure, you're gonna think about major deliverables during each phase. So during planning, I have a few major deliverables. The first one is project charter. The second one is scope plan document. And then I have the project schedule, quality plan, and a few other deliverables. So this is a phase, this is a deliverable, and then you go one level lower, you see a list of activities that would help you produce that deliverable. So this is a work breakdown structure. Yes, it's used for scheduling, for keeping track of time and order of things and all those that you shared with me. A specific type of work breakdown structure and a specific style of doing work breakdown structures that we're going to follow in this class. We call it deliverable oriented work breakdown structure or schedule. You go from project to phases, phases to deliverables, deliverables to activities. Just keep in mind that these lowest level items that we call them activities or tasks are the ones that you can actually assign to people, are the ones that actually you can estimate duration of and say the start and finish dates for them. So these are the lowest level items that we call activities or tasks. You can assign to people, you can estimate duration, and you can say when they will be started, and you can identify dependencies. So very good start class, and this is an item you're going to work on during your first lab exercise on Wednesday. What is this picture? Give me a label or description. You have a minute to think about. Anybody is ready to talk about, please go ahead, unmute yourself and talk about that.
I mean, essentially, it looks like a graphical representation of what you just showed us. It shows the orders of things that need to be. It shows the order of things that need to be accomplished. It also shows what needs to be accomplished, and then the only thing different is it shows like the projected effort, so how much time needs to be dedicated to that. But even the last one you showed us showed how long it was expected to take.
Perfect. So KBG, what's your first name? I haven't seen the roster.
My name's Connor.
Connor, good comment here. It shows the phases that we saw in my last example. It starts with defining the project, planning the project, executing the project, plan, closing, and evaluation. So it's the order of things that are done during a project. We call this project life cycle phases. And yes, it talks about the amount of effort and resource required to complete each phase. So go ahead, Robert H. Which one of them is taking most time and resources?
At the execute project plan.
Why do you think that's the case?
It has the largest vertical length in the effort and resources required bar graphs.
In general, why do you think execution is taking so much time?
Because that's when you're actually doing it. Beforehand, you're just planning it, and afterwards, it looks like you're just closing the project.
Exactly. Perfect. So execution is taking a lot of time. When you compare closing and evaluation to planning and defining, so the last two phases to the first two phases, what observations can you, or what descriptions can you share? Go ahead, Carl.
So like the last two steps and the first two steps are like similar size of like how long they should take and the required effort. So yeah, at the beginning we define the project goal, but at the end you like, when you evaluated, you see like, did you like meet those goals that you were set out to accomplish?
That's a good observation. Thanks for sharing that, Kyle. It's true that closing and evaluation must in reality take almost the same amount of time and resources as you're planning and defining. So the last two phases are as important as the first two phases, but is it really the reality? Is it what we do as project managers? Probably not. And if you have been part of a project before and or managed the project before, is it in your life or is it in the workplace or internship, you realize that at the end of the project, you're just so done with the project. You don't want to sit and evaluate. And that's what people say, what's missing in the project management profession, in the IT field. We don't spend enough time on evaluation. We don't document lessons learned and the mistakes made. That's why we as project managers, as developers, as a team, as a company, as an industry and a profession, we are not improving a lot in terms of the success rate of IT projects. Why? Because we're all so tired of the project. When we could get to the end, we don't have time to review. We just are ready to move on to the next project. Good observation here. Who remembers what these things are? Some of you have taken IT 261 with me. Some of you are taking it with me. Some of you have taken it or are taking it with other professors. Do you remember what these things are? Anybody remembers what these things are? The picture on the bottom right corner, what are those things? Those are the major phases of systems development lifecycle. So SDLC. If you haven't taken 261 and you're just taking it this semester, don't worry too much. There is not a lot of connection between the two courses, but some ideas that they will help you learn things faster. Here, and I'm gonna make sure I will make those connections explicit for you so you don't have to go and discover them yourself. One of them is here. We talk about Sdlc phases. There is a little bit of problem definition, planning at the beginning. Then we go to discovery phase, which we call it analysis, then design, build, test, integrate, and deploy and maintain. The order at which these phases happen and the amount of time and resources you spend on each of these phases differ from project to project, depending on the approach you're taking, depending on the team you're working with, and the project technologies that are involved in it. So it doesn't have to happen in the same order, but we call it major phases of systems development lifecycle. And just today, I introduced to you major phases of project lifecycle. How those two connect? That's my question. So where in project lifecycle you would follow Sdlc phases? Is it in defining project? Is it in planning? Is it in execution? Is it in closing? Or is it in evaluation? What's your best guess, Jeremy? Jeremy, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly, I guess execute project plan maybe.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. So during execution, that's when an information system is created or upgraded depending on the project. So that's when you would need to do analysis and design and build and test and all those things because you're delivering an information system. That's the purpose of an IT project. Some of you may say that, oh, I think in planning there would be some traces of Sdlc. Yes, there could be. Why? Because sometimes you do a little bit of analysis and design or implementation in planning because you want to identify bottlenecks and glitches and make sure you understand them well enough so you can create a realistic plan for the project. So a little bit of Sdlc could happen during the planning or during defining the project, but the major work, the most of the work will happen during the execution. Good participation so far, class. PLC, Sdlc, and they are connected here during the execution of the project plan. That's when you are creating an information system. I'm going to put in front of you another picture, and I'm going to tell you that it's connected to the last two pictures you've seen. I just want you to describe it to me. So I'm going to give you 1 minute here, and then I'm going to ask one of you to tell me what you see here and how it connects to the last two pictures you've seen. Go ahead, take 1 minute to think about it. All right, go ahead, Robert. Have you already talked, Robert?
Yes, I did. I was on the previous slide, the effort explaining one.
Okay, perfect. Robert, Jeremy, Ethan, and KBG are already inside the participation circle. Alex, do you want to go ahead and share your thoughts?
Yeah, so is what's in the square kind of corresponding to on the last slide where we were talking about executing the plan, and then the numbers on the left are remind me of the numbers we saw earlier from the schedule?
Exactly. So good observations, Alex. This is a work breakdown structures. You got it. The project, which is EC Bank project, has been broken into 9 phases. Perfect. 5 phases: initialize project and plan, close and evaluate, and whatever comes in between is execution, in which Sdlc phases have been included. So it has project lifecycle phases, as you said, and it has Sdlc phases. So analysis, design, construction, testing, and implementations are happening within execution phase. So basically you're taking all these 5, and then inside this one, you are putting Sdlc phases, which you have heard about or are hearing in 261, analysis, design, and so on. So project has been broken down to phases. Now, Matt, what is this testing? What do you see when testing phase has expanded? What do you see inside it? Matt W.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you.
Okay, cool. It seems to just be expanding on specifically what like they want to do with the tests, like how you should follow through with the testing. And well, this one seems to be expanded on 6.2, which is something about the end report of all the testing. It's going into detail about how they want that specifically done, all that stuff, seems like.
Exactly. So this is about activities and further breaking down phases. But as we said in the first pictures that you saw, these are deliverables. Yes, Matt, exactly. This is detailing the work, how specifically testing phase is listing 2 major deliverables. 6.1 is the test plan. 6.2 is the test results report. Second major deliverable for this phase has been expanded, and yes, all these activities, 6.2.1 to 6.2.6, they are those activities that help you produce 6.2, which is your test results report. There is a milestone. We're going to talk about milestones on your work breakdown structures. Basically, this is not an activity. It's just a significant point in time that it's a reminder for you to celebrate your achievements and those of your team members. So this is the exact same style that you're going to follow on Wednesday in your first lab exercise. You're going to have phases, all these phases. You're going to start with listing deliverables, and I'm going to help you with that. And then you're going to add activities to a few of deliverables that look familiar to you, because some of you have done a project end-to-end and know examples of activities and deliverables for each phase. Some of you haven't done so. So we're going to focus on some of the things that you know more and some of the things that you're going to be working on in this class. So milestone for each deliverable and a milestone for each phase. Milestones are not activities. Again, they're just points in time that you want to make sure you celebrate and stop and appreciate what you have achieved. Very good observation, class. And here I'm showing you a visual representations of the same ideas that we've been discussing so far. So on the left, this is actually what you see. It's a task sheet, part of your work breakdown structure, because I was not able to show you everything, but it has dependencies, it has the start time and end time, and it has the hierarchy on the left. So this is Microsoft project task sheet, and what you see on the right, we call a Gantt chart. It shows the same information just visually. Goes from top left to the bottom right. The gray bars are your general phases. The blue bars are your activities. Keep in mind, you assign activities to people. You estimate durations of activities. So you don't do those things with your general phases. You do them with activities, the lowest level that you have on your task sheet. In this task sheet, you have two levels, the general phases and then activities. In your example on Wednesday, you will have three levels in your hierarchy: phase, deliverables, and then activity. The arrows, they show dependencies. So what has to wait for other things to be completed? The most common form of dependency is finish to start dependency. Exactly what's shown here. This phase has to be completed before this one can start. So finish to start dependency is the most common form of dependency, and it's the default form. So if on your Microsoft project task worksheet, you don't say the type of dependency, the default is finish to start. But you can define other forms of dependencies that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. What's important here is that what is dependency? Tell me, why something depends on something else? Why would you need to wait? Tell me one reason. So who hasn't talked yet? Andrew D.
Yes, ma'am. So the question is, why would you need something to finish before the next one begins?
Exactly.
I mean, the way I think about it is like, if you're making a pizza, you can't make a pizza without the flour. So you would have to ground the flour up. You know, it's just like the process. You can't just start something in the middle. You have to start from the beginning to the end, it sounds like to me.
Exactly.
Right?
So sometimes you need an outcome of another activity or another phase. You need flour to make something. So you have to wait for somebody to purchase the flour before you can start making the dough. That's a really good response. One type of dependency called outcome dependency. You need an outcome of another activity. Purchasing flour is one activity. What comes out of that is flour. You need that to start creating your dough. Are there other types of dependencies? So let's stay on that pizza. and let's say you're only one person creating the whole pizza for the family. Can you do the cheese and the veggies all together, or you do them in order?
Usually you would do them in order, but I guess it comes down to preference, but logically speaking, I think you would do it in order.
So if you had two people, 4 hands, somebody could do the veggies and the other person could do the cheese on top of that. Yes. So the reason if you're one person, you do them one after the other is because your hands are busy doing one thing. You can't do both of them at the same time. So this is the second type of dependency. Your resources are busy. You don't have 4 hands. You only have 2 hands. If you had 4 hands, you could probably, one person could start from the left, put the veggies, and the other person could start adding the cheese on the top. But resource dependency is another type of dependency. Your people are busy, your bandwidth is busy, your servers are busy doing other transactions, your software licenses are being used, you have a limited number of licenses, or your facility is busy, like you have a number of people in this room working on piece of the project, the other people, they don't have the facility to work on. So outcome dependency versus resource dependency, the 2 types of dependencies that I want you to ponder when we come back to these ideas on Wednesday. So I told you there are different types of dependencies. So flour has to be purchased before I can start making the dough. I can start preheating my oven at the same time start adding veggies to my dough, yes, or adding sauce to my dough, or adding things to my pizza. So they can start at the same time. Things have to finish together. I have to finish coding because before I can finish signing off the hours for my team members. If they want to get paid, we have to finish coding and finish the paperwork at the same time. Start to finish is tricky. This is A depends on B. So A cannot finish unless B starts. So I can't finish deploying the project before the host organization starts running their help desk. So I can finish as soon as they start the help desk. Otherwise, if I deploy and be done, there will be chaos. So they need to start the help desk before I leave them with the project and be done. These are some ideas I want to send you to breakout rooms with. I want you to think about finish to start. So in here, B depends on A. So the arrow points to the thing that depends on the other thing. So this B depending on A, this is codependence, and here A depends on B. Finishing A depends on starting B. Here, starting B depends on finishing A. Think about your life. Think about your cooking, breakfast preparation, doing things with your roommates, doing things with your sports team, or in other projects that you do in life, and give me examples of these dependencies. So I'm going to let you go away and have some fun discussing these ideas with your classmates. I'm going to assign you to breakout rooms. Automatically, that means I don't choose who goes with whom. So try to make connection with your classmates and enjoy discussing these ideas. If you need to see this picture, make sure you get my PowerPoint slides from Reginet. So I'm going to create breakout rooms. So we are 14. I'm going to create maybe 4 breakout rooms. So 3 or 4 of you. I'm going to give you 4 minutes, discuss these dependencies, give me 1 example, okay? And give me examples of finish to finish, start to start, some other non-common type of dependencies. You get the invitation on your screen, just join that breakout room. Here you go. You should see the invitation on your screen. I'll see you back in 4 minutes. Solomon, do you see the invitation? KBG, do you see the invitation? You should have the invitation to breakout rooms on your Zoom screen. Do you see that, Connor? Connor, you should be in the breakout room now. All right, class, I'm waiting for everyone to come back from the breakout room. Then we're gonna go one breakout room at a time, and we'll ask you to share what you have shared with your roommates, breakout roommates. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me while we're waiting for everyone to show up. Welcome back. Was it hard? You were in the middle of discussion. I stopped your discussions. No?
No.
All right. We have almost, I think, everyone back. So well done, class. Don't worry if you didn't get to discuss everything that you wanted to discuss. We're going to do a lot of breakout rooms because every one of you needs to get to know each other classmate so that you know what kind of groups you're going to make. And if those of you who are not willing to share your video with the whole class, if you wanted to share them with your small groups, feel free to do so, depending on your preferences. Sometimes it may help with making connections, sometimes it doesn't matter. So it's all up to you. I'm gonna go to the first breakout room, ask Jeremy, Kyle, Robert, and Tony. One of you please share with us the type of dependency that you came up with as an example. So go ahead.
With the final one over the summer, I was making automation software, but in order to actually finish it, another project that a coworker was working on, where he was setting up the lab the software would go on to, needed to get finished before I could actually start implementing it.
Nice. So something had to. Which one of them is an example of?
It's start to finish, where the lab had to finish deploying before I could actually. The lab had to start deploying before I could actually finish my original project.
Very nice example. Well done. Well done. Good job. Breakout room number 1. Let's go to the room number 2. Alex, Ethan, Haley, and Matt.
Hello?
Hello, we hear you.
Hey, so we came up with one, it was a finish to finish relation, and I was thinking like university prereqs for your degree, like you need to finish all your gen eds in order to finish your degree, something like that.
Nice, your university degree in connection with your gen ed courses. Perfect, finish to finish. One cannot finish without the other. So next breakout room, well done. Breakout room number 2. Andrew, Carl, and Ryan.
Hello.
Yes.
So for one of the examples, we did a finish to start. So in order to like open up Zoom, you need to open up ReggieNet first to go into the class. So you would open up RegieNet and then go into Zoom.
So what was that example of?
Start to start. Or finish to start, my bad.
Finish to a start.
Right. So you log into RegieNet and then you open up Zoom.
Oh, so you have to finish logging in before you start zooming. Perfect. Good example. And I have breakout room number 4. I don't know why we have 2 members there.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that Connor who didn't join a breakout room? Maybe he left already. So we have Andrew and Solomon. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had start to finish. So you gotta finish like making your food so you can start eating. That's what we did.
I think that's an example of this one.
Oh, the other one? My bad.
Yeah. You know, it's tricky. Sometimes you can word it differently, but here you're saying eating cannot start unless cooking has been completed. But really good examples, class. Really good examples. Really good participation. You're doing very well. Just keep up the same level of energy every time we'll meet. We talked about different types of dependencies, and you're going to play with this on Wednesday in lab, working with Microsoft Project. Another reminder, you need to get Microsoft Project for your device. You can download it for free, or you need to connect to VM Labs. In either case, you need help, make sure you write to me today or tomorrow. Now, all these things that we talked about, work breakdown, structure, planning, phases, everything related to project management traditional way has been summarized in a book called Project Management Body of Knowledge. This is the book, exactly looking like this when sitting on my shelf in my office. So it lists all the 10 knowledge areas within traditional project management. And it's created by professionals in the area. So it serves as a reference, and your book follows closely these different areas and tries to cover them in one chapter. So what is project management? What is a project? It's a temporary endeavor undertaken to accomplish a unique purpose. So it has a beginning and an end and a specific outcome. That's why when we talk about the scope, requirements, functional, non-functional, all these matter to define the project and the time it takes and the money it needs and the quality at which those features could be delivered. So IT projects are different from your IT operations. A few years ago, none of you were here when we did that. We modernized a student information system and many other parts of the campus IT system. So we moved from traditional platforms to ERP. So that was a project, it was a 5-year project. There were so many activities, there was a budget. But during that whole time that this project was working to modernize this system of a university, we still had the IT operations going on. So we still did grading and assignment submissions and all other things that the students and faculty and staff would need to do. Human resources things, payments, timesheets, all those things were still working. Those are IT operations. They still work, and there is a point in which you transition to the new system. There are different types of transitions, and we'll talk about those. But the project is defined with a beginning and end to help you introduce a new system or upgrade currently existing systems, make it better, faster, more reliable. Project management is a list of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques that help you run the project and meet the requirements. So again, I'm going to focus on a set of skills in this class. And the good news is that these skills are helpful for you if you become an IT project manager, or if you become any other type of manager, or if you just apply them to your life. Many of them are useful in day-to-day life. So it's a really useful course, I would say. These are those 10 areas. I told you, project management body of knowledge. The focus of our course during the first 6 weeks will focus on these 10 areas, and I'll talk about one tool or technique related to each of these 10 areas. Cost, we're going to talk about cost-benefit analysis. For time, we're going to talk about your work breakdown structures and dependencies. For scope, we're going to talk about scope management plan. Integration is about putting things together, and project charter is one of the things you do in this class that puts things together. Stakeholders is about making sure the people who have a stake in the project, they're informed, their input is valued, they are connected to the project, they champion the project if they can. And there's a stakeholder management document that you're going to create and you're going to work on sometime during the first 6 weeks. Procurement is about getting what you need to purchase, to have to do the project. So it's about getting facility or renting or organizing or structuring a facility, getting licenses, getting hardware pieces, getting cloud subscription, whatever is needed to make your project work and get the project lifecycle started. Risk is about those uncertain events that can have an impact on your project. We have to work on risk management, and this is something you work on during the third lab exercise. You're going to create a risk map, do some quantitative analysis to prioritize your risks. Why? Because your resources are not unlimited. So you have to prioritize and focus on a few uncertain events. You can't just watch everything. And if everything or things can go wrong, some of them you have to just accept, some of them you have to insure yourself against. All these ideas we will discuss in your risk management plan. Communication is about making sure the right information in the right format is delivered to stakeholders at the right frequency at the right time. So there is a communication management plan you're going to work on. Human resources, we talked a little bit less technically about that. We talked about formal and informal organizational structures, and that's something we'll look at. Quality, we're going to look at different quality control tools in this class. So all these 10 areas will be touched one way or the other. For some of them, I do things with you. We do hands-on activities. For some of them, we'll talk and share ideas. My hope is that we do things and then you create a report. The things we do are simple enough that you get confident to do your report. So after 6-week period, after doing 3 lab exercises, you'll be confident to do your report one at the end of 6 weeks. So this is what we're gonna focus on during the first 6 weeks. I will change the order of the book chapters. So I'm not gonna do 1 to 5. I may do one topic from chapter 1 and then jump to 5. I don't want you to be a very, and I know some of your personalities, some of us are like that. We like things to happen in order sequentially. But this class is not like that, and I want you to be patient with me. So I'm gonna do schedule with you this week. We're gonna do cost benefit analysis. We're gonna do risk map. And I'll tell you where in book they are discussed. But the order will change, and just be patient and try to learn some basic tools that will help you anywhere. I promise that. So with that, if you don't have any questions, I have a video to show you. Do you have any questions for me? Unmute yourself. So Alex, why don't you unmute yourself? And I'm gonna run the video and you confirm with me that you hear, you see the video and you hear the sound.
Okay.
And before I just disappear. And so I'm gonna share screen. Thank you, Alex, I appreciate that. So I'm gonna just, do you see the video now?
I see it, yep.
Met that objective and then
Okay, I can hear it too. Yep.
Okay, then I'll be good. So if anything is wrong, you tell me, Alex, okay? I'll depend on you.
Sounds good.
So here.
The Bradley Armored Personnel Carrier will bring troops to a combat zone swiftly, efficiently, and safely. It will hold 11 men, plus a driver, and features a 20-millimeter cannon, which will provide ample firepower and at the same time flexibility. Lightly armored, speedy, and solidly engineered, our troops will be arriving at the battlefield in the very finest American technology has to offer. And at $1.5 million per, a real bargain. Nice work, Colonel.
It's a little quiet.
In other words, it was designed.
What happened?
It's kind of quiet.
You don't hear it anymore?
Not really.
Okay, I'm gonna share again. Okay. What
For some reason, I think your voice went down because like
Yeah, your voice went down too.
I can't hear it. Like
you can't hear me either?
oh.
No, you don't hear me? Do you want me to start over, Alex?
Yes.
Do you
Your mic audio and the video audio got really quiet.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
Let me see. It got so quiet. Oh, okay. What shall I do? Right now, you don't hear me well either?
Yeah, I can't hear you very well. Yeah,
Very interesting.
it's at like 5 decibels.
Right now, too?
Yep. I can hear you a little, but not as well as earlier.
Yeah, I have my headphones turned all the way up. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I'm in 100 right now.
So what shall I do?
I would check the settings of Zoom and make sure that it didn't auto adjust it down, because sometimes it scales it down automatically. So on the main Zoom page where you see like home, chat, meetings, and like the time, there should be like a gear icon that says settings. And then if you click the third option down that says audio,
I don't see that. I don't see
you don't see like the gear on the right side underneath the search bar?
underneath the search bar.
Yeah, so it's like the white, I'm not entirely sure how to describe it. It's the page of Zoom where you can return to the meeting, you can schedule something.
It's like a little gear. When you hover
Right.
over it, it says settings.
So I think the quickest way to get to there is to just type Zoom into your search bar and hit start Zoom, and that'll take you right to that page, and you should be able to see the settings icon on the right side.
Let's see. Meetings.
You could also share your screen if you wanted. That might make it easier.
Okay, here.
Or actually, what you can do is you can click on the little arrow by the mute button, and you could also go to test speaker and microphone if you wanted to do that too.
Let me try something. Let me try something. Okay. I am going to same as system microphone.
Wait, did she just get louder for anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think you have Zoom automatically adjusting your microphone levels. And so it's moving it like up and down based on, I'm not sure what, but I think, because there's an option inside where the settings that I was talking about that says automatically adjust.
I'll take that option next time because
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. But right now, let's see if we can get through this short video. I am going to ask Alex again to please tell me if this is going to work.
Okay.
So if you don't hear it, just tell me and I'll stop it.
Designed to be a big taxi cab, drive guys to the battle.
Do you hear it, Bill?
Yep.
I'm gonna go a little bit.
Offer. And at $1.5 million per, a real bargain. Nice work, Colonel. Outstanding. Damn impressive. In other words, it was designed to be a big taxi cab, drive guys to the battlefield and go back home. But how did it end up with a turret on top? Well, this is all well and good, Colonel Smith, but something wrong, General? Well, with this gorilla in production, I don't suppose there's going to be anything left in the budget for my scout. Darn it, Bob. You don't need scouts. You have radar, air recon, satellites. You always need a scout. And you know what I'm thinking? Why couldn't this thing serve as a scout? But it's a troop carrier, General. But this is a speedy vehicle. Why can't it be both? Well, for one thing, it's too big. And for the other, you can't really see out all that much from inside.
Sounds like a design flaw to me.
Design flaw? No.
We'll just stick a turret on top with lots of opticals.
But then, sir, it'll be even bigger.
Well, what's your problem, Smith? Not elegant enough for you?
Well, the thing is, General, it's kind of hard to do a sneak and peek when you're over 10 feet tall.
He's got a point, Bob. All I know is we need a scout. This is fast enough to do the job, and it's funded.
Well, actually, we're a hair over budget.
You turned the Bradley into a scout. We're going to be selling them off to some El Presidente de Chimichanga in no time.
Anything for surveillance ends up south of the border before the paint even dries.
When you needed that anti-aircraft gun, who backed you up on that?
You did, Bob.
And who testified to appropriations on behalf of that gun?
You did, Bob.
I'm talking to appropriations next week. Now, do I sell you on my scout or do I not?
You did, Bob.
And how about some portholes along the side for individual firearms so the fellas can stick out their guns and shoot people?
Good.
And you know what, Colonel? We already have the turret. We ought to get the biggest bang we can up there.
I'm sorry, bang, sir?
You can't hurt anybody with that pansy-ass gun. Add on some firepower.
Where am I supposed to fit the extra ammo?
I don't know. Can't you just shift things around? Make some room.
You already got 4,400 rounds of machine gun ammo. Now you want to add 25 millimeter shells.
General wants his ammo.
You can't have his ammo unless he runs alongside this thing carrying it.
Well, can you just squeeze it in?
No.
Oh, come on, just squeeze it in.
We're not trying on Levi's here, Colonel.
Are you telling me that in a vehicle this size you can't find room for a few rounds of ammunition?
Not in its current configuration, no, sir.
So the configuration's wrong.
There must be something you can dump.
Dump, sir?
Something you don't need.
General, the interior is very spare. Besides the ammunition and the men...
Maybe you can leave one of the fellows behind. With the ammo or the men go.
Sir, it is a troop carrier.
So, make a couple extra trips. What's the difference?
They want a transport that doesn't carry men and a scout that's got a cannon as big as a tank's on it.
And portholes.
Oh, great, portholes. So the guys can shoot out whatever they can't hit with their cannon.
You don't have to buy the damn thing, Jones. Just draw it. That's one hell of a cannon.
That's a problem.
Why?
You go out in the battlefield with this pecker sticking out of your turret, and the enemy's going to unload on you with all they got. Might as well paint a big red bullseye on the side.
But it's a troop carrier, not a tank.
Do you want me to put a sign on it in 50 languages? I'm a troop carrier, not a tank. Please don't shoot at me.
This was going to be so beautiful.
That's good work, Smith. Looks perfect to me.
Thank you, sir.
Thing is,
Yes, General?
looks a little like a tank with that cannon on top. Probably gonna draw more fire.
Actually, sir, that has come to our attention.
We know it's not a tank, but will the other side?
I guess we could always thicken the armor, toughen up the hide a bit.
Colonel Smith, could you explain why you put those portholes there?
Yes, sir. As per your request, so the men could shoot out at the enemy.
You're joking, aren't you?
Besides portholes, what are we in now, the Navy? Say, you think you could make this thing amphibious? You know, get the troops across a river?
No. No, sir. No. No.
Amphibious? The Broadwin's supposed to swim? In theory, at least. Amphibious troop carrier / scout / tank. Couple more months, I bet they can get this thing to fly.
What's this in the margin? Please help me. I am losing my mind. RLS.
Lieutenant Colonel Robert Laurel Smith, Head of Oversight and Development.
All right, class. Let's see if you are still hearing me. Do you still hear me? Yes?
Yes.
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 Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you think this project is going to be a successful project, a challenge project, or a failed project?
I think challenging because can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I think challenging because they all seem very frustrated and confused on the details.
Yeah, it's at least a challenge project as you feel they are not able to finalize the scope of the project, the scope, the list of features and functionalities. Anybody can guess any other options? Obviously, you think it's not successful. Do you think it's going to be a failed project?
I think it's going to fail because they don't have their priorities straight.
Exactly. This is actually a good guess. You feel that it's challenged, but this is actually ending up being a failure project. This is a real project. It took them 11 years before they could finalize the requirements, and then the project was terminated. So yes, the same idea as that an amphibious vehicle and things of that nature were existing in the real project. So successful, challenged, failed. What's the difference? How would you define a successful project?
Core objectives are met.
Okay, core objectives are met. Can you be more specific about objectives? Do you mean the scope, the functionality, the features are delivered?
The functionality, I think, yeah, in a timely manner as well.
Okay, time. So you said scope, the list of things they wanted is delivered within the time frame they specified. Any other constraint? Go, Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say too is the like the risk side of it, and like making sure that all the risks have been thought out, well enough.
So I think you're referring to the quality, and risk is one of the dimensions of the quality. So the risk associated with the delivered project are consistent with the ones expected from the stakeholders. So a scope, time, and quality, which involves the risk associated with the product delivered. What else? So we have 3 so far: time, scope, and quality. Anybody wants to give me the 4th item?
Within
I don't know
budget.
if this would count, but meeting the requirements.
That's a scope, perfect. And meeting the requirements is a scope. Meeting the non-functional requirements is quality. So a really good distinction there. If you've been in IT 261, you've heard functional and non-functional requirements. Functional requirements will define your scope. Non-functional requirements will define your quality. Somebody told me budget. Yes, I heard budget.
Yeah, that was me.
Exactly. So you have all 4 and really good participation here, class. Look at this picture, and maybe I should let you look at the whole picture. So this is what you gave me. We call them triple constraint: scope, list of features you're delivering, cost, money you're asking for it, time, the time frame you need to deliver them, the quality at which they're delivered. So all of you had these ideas that there are a set of requirements. Some of them are functional, falls within scope. Some of them are non-functional, falls within quality. All these dimensions are interrelated. So if you are expanding the scope like they were doing here in this video, or you're changing the scope, it's going to have implications for your time. It's going to have implications for your budget, or you can't change those, the quality will suffer. So triple constraint, yes, a failed project would suffer in any of these areas or a combination of them. It may be over time, maybe over budget, it may not be delivering the quality that was expected, or not the features it was promised, the list of features it was promised to deliver. A failed project is failed. The sponsor, they say no more money, done. But a challenge project could have the same shortcomings, could be very similar to a failed project, but it is kept alive. Why? Why do sponsors still pour money in a project that's not delivering? It's suffering at quality over time or budget, because sometimes it's just required, like it's a regulation thing. You have to have it in place for the next round of audit. So, and sometimes the organization is prone to the sunk cost fallacy. If they spend money on the project, they don't want to terminate it. And a successful project obviously is delivering and within reasonable variations of time and project at which they were defined. We in IT project, we're doing about 1/3 successful, 1/5 failure, and the rest are challenge. And I'm sure if you've been in course project, you feel what a challenge project is. The numbers are not becoming any better. The reason I have an old version of this report is that because the report is something we have to purchase and I don't have the newest version. But the numbers are not doing extraordinarily better these days. So it's about the same, half challenge, about 1/3 successful, and the rest failure. And if you remember the project lifecycle phases that I talked about at the beginning, and we talked about not doing enough work in evaluation, that's one reason we are not improving the quality of the project, because you're not learning from our mistakes. You and I as project managers or developers or as portfolio managers, we don't look at the end to the projects and evaluate what went well and what was a mistake. So usually those phases are overlooked, and that's one of the reasons we as a profession are not improving a lot. So I'm gonna stop the lecture here. I had a few more things to go over, but I'm not going through, and I'm gonna stop here. Not going to send you to breakout rooms, but just stay here for the last 5 minutes of the class. We can talk about the syllabus and the course and the logistics. I'm gonna stop sharing this page and start sharing my ReggieNet page. Go ahead. What are some general questions about the course? Pretty heavy first day, yes? Did you expect that? So many questions you answered. It's gonna be the same during each session. I'm gonna ask you to answer questions, but you know there are tricks. You can ask me questions in response. So let's share the ReggieNet page and see what housekeeping items could be confusing. So everybody has been to this page. Let's start here. Alex, I need you to unmute yourself and confirm that I have the right page on. Do I have the right page on?
Yeah, I see ReggieNet.
Okay. Questions? Alex, do you have questions? Ask questions so the students would feel comfortable to ask me more.
What's your favorite part about this class?
Lab exercises. I just love doing things in labs and help students do things and feel a little bit of satisfaction. So that's why you have 3 labs in each learning module, and we could have more if you're more interested. So doing hands-on activities with the students, it's fun, and this is a good question. You're supposed to finish your lab exercises with me. They're not testing your ability. They are like a practice session for you. It's like when you go to the gym with a personal trainer and you do things with the personal trainer. It's how my lab exercises are. I watch you do things, I'll help you. We do desktop sharing so I can help you complete it. And the goal is that if you attend this session, you're gonna be done with the lab and submit and go over to your other course material. Do we have to sign up for 5-minute check-in tonight? You can sign up. I opened it up. So this is 5-minute check-in class. Go to sign up or press the link here. The only times open right now are 7 to 9 p.m. today, but I'm gonna open more times. So don't worry about it if this time doesn't work for you. Check back around midnight. I'll add more times. So some of you have signed up, but this sign up is for every class that I have. So as you see here, this is your weekly class meeting and this is your material. Yes? Do you see that, Alex? Now, if you go to Zoom Pro, you're gonna see the regularly scheduled class meetings and regularly scheduled office hours. I'm gonna post them on Zoom Pro. But for your one-on-one Zoom meetings, you have to go to sign up or check the link I have here for you and pick a time that's good for you. I have 7 to 9 p.m. and you should still be able to sign up for open time slots. If not, look for more options that I will open up tonight. Does that answer your question, Kyle? Have you looked at the syllabus? Have you looked at the syllabus quiz? And there is a mini activity for you? Or this is not your course? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was just about.
But the structures are very similar, so I can talk about the structure without changing your brain. But oh, the quiz hasn't been linked here. Is this your course? Okay. So your quiz should be up right now. I should be up. Please. Oh, it's here. It's up. There is a small discussion. So watch an episode of Shark Tank, think about those numbers and give me your impression. I think I asked for about 80 words. So it's not a lot of work and it's actually fun if you watch an episode of Shark Tank, try to understand some of those numbers. So that is gonna relate to your second lab exercise, which is cost benefit analysis. Class, right now, the first week, I'm going to keep you on this learning area, okay? Start here. So make sure everyone gets what they need. But starting next week, I'm going to move you to module 1, and I'm going to change the order of things. So when you log into ReggieNet, you're going to see module 1. But know that this week is part of module 1. We're doing things related to module 1, but we're also doing a lot of startup things that relate to the beginning of the semester. So when you go to technical requirements, you see the link how to get project management. Make sure you get that by Wednesday, okay? Or be able to connect to VM Labs. Questions?
Is there any software that we need to download for this class?
Project management, Microsoft Project Management. This is the link. Do you see the link? So if you had you should be able to get that for free. You had any difficulties working with Azure, because sometimes if it's your first time, it's hard, I can help you. You can come to your one-on-one meeting and then we'll look at your desktop and we'll help you get that software. Other questions?
Where did you put the link to it at? I don't see it. Is it on ReggieNet or did you put it in the chat?
Do you see?
Oh, okay.
When you go to technical requirements, this is MS Project.
Okay, I see.
Everything else. Let's see if you actually can. Yes, here. You log into Azure and all the information is here. And Azure has all the Microsoft tools. And it's a good thing, class. You can get free Windows and other things if you need them. If you haven't used Microsoft Azure before, it's a really good source. For Windows users, Mac users, you can get the virtual machine or connect to VM Labs. Other questions, class, before I let you go? Very nice meeting you, everyone. I hope in some of the one-on-one meetings, I get to see your faces, but if not, we'll live with that. We know this is a difficult time for everyone, but I'm so happy to have you in class, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Con Air. Next time, join your small group, okay?